Ladies and gentlemen, I now request our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Vardhan, for his inaugural address.
Shri Sharad Jaipuria ji, Dr. D.N. Pandey, Professor Pennington, Dr. Jitendra Das, Shri Jaipuria ji, Dr. Shalini Srivastav, Dr. Surendra Kumar, all the other distinguished professors sitting in this August gathering, and dear young students, media friends. Well, it's a great opportunity and privilege for me to be amongst you. And I must thank Dr. D.N. Pandey for giving me this privilege. Because at least in my life, I always feel indebted to the management students who have always played a very important role in my life. Some 25 years back, maybe if I exactly remember the date, it was 20th of December 1993. I had become a minister in Delhi, and it was only, I was a minister for 17 days. I started my public life in 1993, contested my first election for the Delhi Assembly, and then followed it up with 4 more. And then the 6th one was the last one, which was the parliament election. And now I am into the 7th election. So that was the first election in 93. And on 3rd of December, I was sworn in as a Minister of Health in Delhi. And I was invited to a function in Maulana Medical College as a chief guest. And while I was delivering my address to the medical students, somebody sent me a small slip. And on the slip was a note by a few pediatrician friends who wanted to meet me after the meeting. So I just said yes, okay, and then sent back the slip. And then just after the speech was over and I went down the dais, these friends, they caught me and they said, we don't want to talk here, we want to take you to the corner of the ground. The function was being organized in the Medical College ground. So they were all pediatricians. They said, you are an ENT surgeon, you are a doctor, you have got this opportunity of becoming the health minister in Delhi. Are you aware that 60% of the polio affected children in the whole world, they belong to India? India is home to 60% of the polio affected children. I said, I am not aware of the statistics. I know that polio cripples children. It's a big, you can say, curse for the parents and all. Then they said, are you aware that 10% of this 60% of the whole world's population of polio-affected children belongs to Delhi, the capital of India, from where you have been elected? I said, sorry, I am not aware of the statistics also. And then they further told me that, you have been elected from a constituency in the Trans-Yamuna area of Delhi. This is the place which has the maximum number of polio cases of the whole world. So this was very, very shocking. And then finally they told me that Are you aware that like smallpox, if we try and plan, we can eradicate poliomyelitis from the country and from the world? I said, sorry, I know that polio is part of those vaccine preventable diseases where you give vaccine and you give 2 drops of vaccine and you can at least prevent the disease in children, and it's part of the universal immunization program. And then they finally said that are you aware that the World Health Organization has pledged in 1988 to eradicate polio like smallpox from the face of the earth by the year 2000? I said, no, sorry, I am not aware of this also. And then they finally told me that for last 10 years, these young pediatricians belonging to the Indian Academy of Pediatrics have been walking from pillar to post, knocking at everybody's door and requesting people in government, administrators, health officials, everybody in the country to do something for it. And then they finally said that we are thoroughly frustrated, and everything that we are talking to anyone about this issue, it's all falling on deaf ears, and there are hardly any takers for this in the country. So, can you do something for it? So this was, in fact, I am just putting everything in a very, very short form, and we had a discussion for about an hour or so. And I don't know that those 6 facts that they told me, I went back home. It was the night between the 20th and the 21st of December 1993, some 25 years back. And I don't know why and how, and maybe I consider it as a blessing of God that a dream was born, that we must do something for it. And the very next day, on 21st of December, I called the regional office of WHO in New Delhi and said, can you send me all details about the polio eradication activities happening all across the globe. So they sent me this much of a bunch of papers with stories about what's happening on the polio eradication front in the whole world. And then it took me about 10 days to read all those stories. There were stories about Brazil, there were stories about Pan-American nations, there were stories about Iran, there were stories about Philippines, there were stories about the people who invented or discovered the polio vaccine, Sabin and Salk, and everything that they had sent me. And after reading those papers for 10 days, I was sort of convinced that if a country as big as Brazil, or if the big American nations can wipe out polio from their country, why can't India, with such a strong, powerful DNA where you have so much of inherent goodness that you inherit from your ancestors, why can't the same country work for a polio eradication program? And that is from where we started thinking about it, working to see that the dream is realized. And we started with a very modest dream of having to make Delhi as the first polio-free capital or polio-free city of India. That was a very, very modest dream from where we started. And when we started talking to people, everybody in this country, including the then Union Health Minister, or wherever we went for help or for execution of our planning, So everybody used to mock at us, everybody used to laugh at us, and because India being a vast country like what we are, and the strategy for polio eradication required that every child had to be brought to a center where all the children have to be given vaccine simultaneously. That was the tall order in the whole compliance strategy. And because when you do that simultaneously, you replace the wild polio virus in the intestine of the small children with a vaccine virus. And because the wild polio virus can't live outside in the atmosphere, so you don't allow even one single intestine where the polio virus can survive. That is the science behind the whole strategy. So everybody said, how can you bring every child in this country to a place and ask every mother to... So when everybody used to mock at us, we used to tell them that if you can provide ballot papers to this country, you can organize elections in this country for one single day, and you can make arrangements, you can have all the government machinery involved in elections, you can print ballot paper, you can print hundreds of types of ballot papers with hundreds of candidates for different constituencies. Why can't you have a uniform mechanism whereby you have to just create places where the mothers will be invited and you have a vaccine carrier, you have to just ensure that you keep the vaccine at minus 20 degrees centigrade, and then you transport it to the right place at the right time, make an appeal to the mothers, like you make an appeal to the people who go and exercise their franchise at the time of elections. So this is the, you can say, concept on which we kept fighting with the system, that we have to do it and it can be done. And we started with a modest core group of 4 people, and fortunately one of them happens to be my friend from early days, and he is a professor here in your college itself right now, Professor Puri, sitting here. And how I started this, because I saw all these medical students. So when you can imagine that when we were planning the type of difficulties that we started with, but all those, and then it's a long story, I don't want to get into that story. We could successfully do the first pulse polio immunization in Delhi on 2nd of October 1994, in spite of the fact that we had plague in the city of Delhi and also Surat in 1995. There were so many apprehensions amongst the people and all. But there's a huge logistics, huge management issues, management practices, and doing it for the first time in Delhi was a great Herculean task that we could. So we encountered hundreds of difficulties, and sometimes we would in fact apply our mind for 2, 3, 4 days, brainstorm amongst ourselves, and then we were not able to really find out solutions, because this was the first time we were doing such a big task, creating 4,000 centers in the city of Delhi, and then to ensure that early in the morning we deliver the vaccines at minus 20 degrees centigrade to all those centers. A huge amount of logistics. So for those problems that we encountered at that time, I always feel grateful to the gentlemen and the huge number of medical students. There was one great intelligent director of a management institute in Delhi who is no more in this world, but who was a fantastic human being and a great, I would say, management expert. Those who are in management field, they know about Professor Sharat Kumar. And we used to give him a call. Just tell him on the telephone, sir, this is the problem that I am facing. And by evening, he would tell me the solution. So when we could successfully do that, I just expressed my gratitude to him that you have done great things for the success of this, and you are one of the very important contributors to the success of this program, which ultimately became a national program. It went on to become a program of Southeast Asia. When India could do it, Nelson Mandela launched the kick polio out of Africa. And today, fortunately, when I talk to you in 2019, we haven't seen a case of polio for last 8 years in India. So this is from where we started. But the point to that, Professor Sharad Kumar said, you may not believe it, I haven't done anything. Whatever problem you used to pose to me, I used to call my students, a group of young students who have just entered the Management Institute, and I would put that problem before them, and I would tell them to apply your management principles and give me the solution. And all those young students, they would, I haven't personally seen those students individually but at the back of for the success of the program. So that is the power of management, or the management institution, or the power of the teachers that you are, and what you can, I think, teach and what you can inspire and motivate. It can really work wonders, and I have seen it. Enjoyed it, and felt it myself in my own life. So I thought this is a great occasion where I must express on record my gratitude and indebtedness to the student community of the management field, who have been instrumental in really getting us that success in life, which today anybody can do it because there is a successful model. But when we were sort of struggling hard to see how we can really do it, then the management people, they really played a great role. And of course our friend Professor Ashok Puri, he always guided us through those times. So this is, I think, that's why I said it's always, I always consider it as a privilege, because at least 25 years in public life, I feel that this country has great DNA. This country has a great history of being a superpower in every field. We have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of experience, we have had successes in every field. We have produced the greatest of people in every field. Probably, maybe over the years, over the generations, we have probably either forgotten what we were, or either we have not been able to remember our greatness in, you can say, with utmost sincerity and commitment. So it's only the application of the right principles of management to the problems of this country, which can actually yield rich dividends. And I have been a minister with Prime Minister Narendra Modi for 5 years now. We have known Narendra Modi, but as a Prime Minister, I have seen him for the last 5 years only. And what I can see is that he uses management principles. Maybe he may not be talking about management as such, that he is using management principles, but the very fact that you see he is an extraordinary Prime Minister, and it may appear to be an exaggeration for the people of India when I say that I sincerely feel that Indians had some sort of a God's blessing that they got a Prime Minister like Narendra Modi in 2014. And he's an extraordinary visionary leader with great, fantastic ideas. And today, after 5 years, if any one of you wants wants to talk to me about any program that he has envisioned or he has implemented or he has followed, monitored, or every program or every mission that he has launched, he can very confidently tell you that there are not lakhs or thousands, but there are millions or crores of beneficiaries for virtually every program. Because every program has been followed up with, you see, good quality implementation procedures, practices, managerial skills and management principles, and then at the end of the day, there is so much that he has to report back to India. And we right now, we feel that the dream that he has given to all of us, he wants to deliver a new India to all Indians by 2022. An India where there's absolutely everybody's suffering is alleviated, everybody has a smile, every child has adequate health, education, nutrition, all those facilities, and we get rid of all those issues, whether it's extremism or Maoism or Naxalism or etc., all these separatism, etc. So his dream now, he has been appealing to young people and most probably professionals, scientists, everybody, doctors, that you should all join in his dream to basically sort of strengthen his resolve, contribute a bit of your, you can say, professional capability to see that the dream is realized and we all feel happy and privileged that we also contributed for the development of a new India. When he talks to the scientists, he says you have a scientific social responsibility towards the people of India, that your research is not supposed to be only for glorifying your paper. It should basically be to ensure that how much of your research outcome can benefit the people of India, how much of it can really change their lives. And taking a cue from that, I always have been advocating at all the international conferences also that we must now change the definition of impact factor. It should not be how many times your paper will be read or seen, but it should be how much of impact it could really create to change the lives of the common man. And this is what he talks to every professional, the professional social responsibility, etc., etc. And because you are all talking about this international management, it's an international management conference, research within the management field. I may tell you that now, just to remind you that you all know that one of our great Prime Ministers, Lal Bahadur Shastri, he gave us that great slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. And fortunately, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also blessed with the legacy of another great Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who we all know he brought science to the center stage of Indian politics. He added one more dimension to this. He said it's going to be Jai Vigyan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan and Jai Vigyan. And now under Prime Minister Narendra Modi has recently been added another dimension, and that is Jai Anusandhan. So it's now Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has very successfully stressed and convinced us that in 21st century is the century of innovation. And it is not about that economic growth with the economists talk about, whether it is 7.4, that's also equally important, but it's the economy of ideas that is most important now. And it is the innovation coefficient of an individual or the organization or the institution, which is much more important than all those earlier coefficients that we used to talk about, emotional, etc., etc. So now, with all this change that has happened, the technologies and the huge startup and stand-up movements, you may not know that we, in the Science and Technology Ministry itself, we have supported at least 5,000 new startups in the country. This is only about my own ministry I am talking about, and with the huge strengthening of the innovation ecosystem, and every moment I think a disruptive technology is born, and you really don't know what was born today, will it be relevant tomorrow or not. And you will all be happy to know, just if I give you an overview of how we have progressed in, just to give you an overview about, since we are talking about a bit about science and technology and environment, I'll just focus on these two aspects, and you will feel so happy to be proud of your own country, that in science and technology itself, in the last 5 years, and if you, because you are all professionals, you consider what is the international ranking, you assess the progress of a particular field or a particular country by international rankings. So if I talk of technology, then the technologies are born in one of our most prestigious institutions, that is CSIR, which was born much before we got independence in 47. And in the whole world, there are 1,207 institutions like CSIR. These CSIR institutions are the ones which are, you can say, supported by government money, public funding. They discover technologies of every field, and then these technologies are delivered to the people of India through the route of the industry, and they are all supported by government money. And if you really don't know, for you to imagine that in a list of 1,207 institutions, which of course include institutions of America, England, Japan, Israel, and South Korea, what is the ranking of India today? What is the international ranking of our CSIR, which in fact delivers technologies for the benefit of mankind? We are among the first 10. We right now rank at 9th position in that list. And this is all because of the young, innovative minds of our scientists, their acumen, and their acumen being encouraged and supported by a government who has a visionary like Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who wants to support research and related activities in a big way. Nanotechnology is a recent development in the field of science, and we are third in the whole world in nanotechnology. This is a country which was caught unaware with the tsunami in 2004. Millions of people, they lost their homes, they lost their lives, they lost their children in 2004. It's not, I'm talking about some last century. And today, 2019, when I talk to you about our capabilities in giving warnings, early tsunami warnings to the country and of course to the neighboring countries near the rim of the ocean, we are number one in the whole world. And even Japan is supposed to be giving a false warning, we never give a false warning. And weather forecasting, cyclones forecasting, all those related fields, we are fourth in the whole world. We have a 10 feet of rock right now in this country, and we are just, you can say, England, America and Japan are only marginally ahead of us. They are not very significantly ahead of us, so we are as good as anyone, best in the, today most of the people, they call us to find out what's going to be the weather condition on that particular day. They have been given 2 dates by Pandit for the marriage of their daughter, they want to check with the weather department which is the better date. And it's not, it's a fact that I'm trying to tell you. And the department's acumen and accuracy is so perfect. So it's like in scientific publications, you are all going to publish your report, your papers here. We are 6th in the whole world. Scientific publication growth rate for India is 14%. The international growth rate is just about 4% now. So there are so many statistics like this. And when I talk about environment, I'm very happy that Dr. Das he finished his talk by saying that we have to behave in a better manner, and that gives me a platform to start my talk about environment. And I must congratulate this particular institution, because many places when I go to enter the hall, I have to ask everybody that please remove all these plastic bottles, because I don't go to a program where there is a plastic being, especially single-use plastic being used in some form or the other. So we have, in fact, in the Ministry of Environment, I took over about 2 years back. We brainstormed and deliberated this issue about how we can really help save the environment, how we can protect the environment, how we can have all these sustainable behaviors. And because we are all, you can say we have all inherited a great DNA and legacy from our forefathers who were so committed to the cause of environment. They gave us clean rivers, they gave us dense forests, they gave us fertile land, they gave us good quality, you see, ethics about good quality harmony with nature and with wildlife. And so and we strongly feel that all these issues related to environment, there's a lot of talk about climate change, global warming, people talk about the technical aspects, but we feel that they are all moral issues, and that is basically our duty towards our unborn children who are no longer, at least they are not present in this world to be able to shout for their rights. So I think minimum modest duty that we have is to at least give back to our children the environment that we got from our ancestors. So in the ministry itself, we have launched after a huge amount of good quality brainstorming a Green Good Deeds movement. And we have in fact put down a list of over 700 small positive actions which we have called as Green Good Deeds. Like this is also one Green Good Deed. And if we are working in this room, and if all the rooms in this institution have their lights off at this moment when nothing is happening there, so I would consider that also as a Green Good Deed. Just to give you an example what a Green Good Deed is. And the fact that they gave me a green certificate instead of those flowers and other things is also one Green Good Deed. So similarly, we have compiled a list of 700 Green Good Deeds. And we are asking people in this country to basically do you can say, take care of one Green Good Deed in their personal life every day. That's a very modest, you can say, request. Although you can perform simultaneously many Green Good Deeds. And we are calling it as a green good behavior. This is what he mentioned, Dr. Das, at the end of his, that we have to improve our behavior. So we are saying that please perform a green good deed every day. For that you need not do much. You don't have to spend money, you don't have to put in extra labor. You just have to change your behavior to green good behavior. And we are reminding everyone that this is your green social responsibility for the country, for the society. And for big institutions, academic places, government offices, etc., etc. We are requesting everybody, like our environment ministry, we have adopted 100% green good practices. So I have used 4 terms: green good deeds, green good behavior, green social responsibility, and green good practices. And we are sharing this with everyone. Fortunately, the United Nations has also taken up our Green Good Deeds program, and the BRICS nations have also taken up the Green Good Deeds program. They discussed it in South Africa. They are going to discuss it in their Russia and Brazil meetings in the near future. And we are trying to, you can say, disseminate all this information and arouse people to be awakened about it, and ensuring that this becomes a part of their social behavior. To share that with the people of India, although all this information is also available on the Environment Ministry's website, but our Prime Minister is so fond of, he's so fond of the Digital India movement, and he feels that every information, knowledge and facility that the government gives, everything should be available to every Indian in a phone. And that's why in a country which had only 356 kilometers of optical fiber laid down on 26th May 2014, when I took oath as a minister along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, today it's over 250,000 kilometers of optical fiber that has been laid down in this country. And there is hardly any panchayat, or maybe after 2 months, if you look at the real statistics, you will find out that every 100% panchayats have been covered with an optical fiber. So every phone in the country has a facility for Wi-Fi, and that's why, because you have to communicate the green good deeds also. So if anybody in this country types the name of the Environment Minister of India in his Apple Store or Google Play Store, Dr. Harshvardhan, he will have access to many things in the Dr. Harshvardhan app, but on the top he will have the Green Good Deeds, and if you click there, you can have access to 700 positive actions. So we are trying to convert the need of the society for all this sustainable development into, you can say, a social movement of green good deeds. You know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he led from the front in the COP meeting at Paris. This was not only observed by Indians, but it was observed by everybody all across the world. And he, in fact, initiated a number of great initiatives. He initiated the Mission Innovation, which is about doing a lot of research into finding out more and more mechanisms for development of clean energy initiatives. And we'll be happy to know that in that Mission Innovation initiative, there are 8 grand challenges. We are leading in 3 grand challenges, and we are part of all the 8 grand challenges at the international level. You know about the International Solar Alliance, which was a concept which was given by our own Prime Minister. Today he is talking about a concept of one grid, one sun and one bird, and then we already have over 70 countries which are part of the International Solar Alliance. We started with a very ambitious target of 175 gigawatts of clean energy by 2022. And I can tell you with utmost information and conviction that much before 2022 we are going to achieve that 175 gigawatts of clean energy target. We, like every country in the whole world, we have promised to the whole world that we are going to reduce our greenhouse gases emissions by 33 to 35% from the 2005 level by 2030. But now I can tell you the report that is submitted to the international community in December 2018, which has compilation of our greenhouse gases emission status up to 2014 only. We have already achieved a reduction of 21%. We were supposed to be achieving 21 to 25% by 2020, but as per the 2014 report, we have already achieved it. And we promised to the whole world that 40% of our whole, energy requirement of the whole country will be through green energy, or what you call clean energy, by 2030. And you will be happy to know that in 2017-2018, we have already achieved 35% of that. So total installed capacity, which we promised, has to be 40% of the total by 2030. And I'm talking to you in 2019, we have already achieved 35%. We are leapfrogging from BS4 to BS6 in 2020. We are into the total, you can say, conversion for electric mobility by 2030. And all over the world, because I have been part of all the mission innovation meetings in America, China, Sweden, Denmark in recent years, and all the COP meetings in recent years, the success of India on the environment front, it has been acknowledged by the whole world officially. Even a country like China, in a meeting in China, acknowledges the contribution of India on the environment front. And this is where you all know that our ministry, and particularly the Prime Minister, he received the highest award of environment from the United Nations recently. And when the Prime Minister submitted that he didn't have time to go to New York to receive the award, the United Nations Secretary General was gracious enough to come to New Delhi and deliver that award. And I myself organized a function to get that executed. So, in fact, you should all feel proud of basically the fact that whether it is science or technology, or whether it is environment, or for that matter anything that you can talk of. Unfortunately, I've already crossed the limit of time that has been dedicated to me. So I can keep on talking and talking, but I can again tell you that we have an extraordinary Prime Minister. You have recently seen his ability. When I remembered Atal Bihari Vajpayee, I always thank him on behalf of India because he became Prime Minister in 98 March for the second time. And it was on May 11 he delivered that Pokhran. He only spoke to 4 people and delivered that Pokhran thing and made us one of the... It was not that the nuclear capability was not there in this country. It was there during the regime of Mr. Narasimha Rao also. It was there during the regime of Mr. Dev Gowda also, Mr. I.K. Gujral also, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi also, Mr. V.P. Singh also. But I think it required a lot of true jazba, or the strength, or the conviction to be able to do that. He did that. And similarly, we have seen again it being replicated, Mr. Narendra Modi emulating the example of his great leader Atal Bihari Vajpayee. We also saw the 26th of November 2008, what happened in Taj, Mumbai, we all remember. We don't have to talk about it. And now we have seen the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on this front also, that he could reply to Uri also, he could reply to Pulwama also, and he can reply to anything that is brought before him. So we are really fortunate to have a Prime Minister like Narendra Modi. I would wish this conference great success, and I would certainly request all the researchers to dedicate and pointedly focus your research about ensuring that all the unresolved issues of this country and all the people of this country who suffer from various miseries and various troubles, we need to look at those problems and we need to alleviate them. 5 years as a science and technology minister and as an environment minister now, simultaneously I am convinced that technology, science, all these areas have great potential to help every human being solve each of his problems. It is only the right application of mind and the right direction in which we start working and the right type of dream that each one of us can really have for our whole life. Because to do routine work is, I think, routine. But to be able to live for a dream and to be able to successfully accomplish it, it will give you the greatest, you can say, satisfaction of your life. And my own personal experience says that if you have a dream, even seemingly impossible tasks can be, I think, successfully accomplished. And then everybody will help you to see that your dream is realized. But only you will have the satisfaction of having that dream in your life for